Welcome back to our Clock Tower 3 playthrough. We are on part 2 of our magical adventure, continuing on through the concert hall. So let's go!
So I really hope you like Chopin because we're going to be listening to the song over and over and
I have to be a little embarrassed here. I did not know it was Chopin, even though, I mean, that disc in the beginning said Chopin.
Well, and we've heard this song before in Struggle Within, actually.
We did. That was the piano in Stephanie's room.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, was it Stephanie's or Ashley's? I think it was Ashley's room.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I guess it's, I guess I'm sort of curious if that was kind of a deliberate throwback to the previous game, or if it was maybe just because this was a classical piece of music and just kind of made a good fit for this level.
Oh, spooky stage. Oh. Wow. Someone really needs to clean that piano. That is a travesty.
This is another fine instance of the great mocap in this game. You can actually find the original mocap footage, videos of it on YouTube. So...
Oh, poor May. Stuck in a loop where she's constantly screwing up.
Oh, yeah.
You can see her superimposed ghost behind Alyssa's shoulder.
That's a little odd there.
It feels like a bad Photoshop.
Yeah, it kind of feels like a cheesy school photo.
Yeah.
This is a tragic moment. I think in May's level more so than the others, it's very well done. You do feel bad for May as a character and the circumstances around her death.
So how did he get up there? Was it just a teleportation?
I guess so. I don't know. I guess the teleporting
So you can see there, he took a swing at us and our panic meter went up. Anytime that they are close to hitting you or do hit you, your panic meter goes up.
I do like his little sort of stumpy walk there.
Right?
He doesn't want to go into a full-out run, so he's just kind of doing this weird crab walk to you.
Yep.
And I mean, obviously, it's to give you a chance to run away. It just kind of
I love
a little funny.
how Alyssa's just like, oh no, this section's roped off. We can't go there.
Yeah, no,
That
no.
would be against the rules.
That's British politeness for you.
Ugh.
So the game does give you good sound cues in that you hear the music of the Stalker, and you also kind of hear their grunting as they're trying to track you down. And so it does do a fairly okay job of letting you know that they're still on your tail. I do wish that the music and their voice kind of died down a little bit the further you got from them.
But, I mean, it is a PlayStation 2 game, so
Yeah.
you can only, like, expect so much. I mean, the sound in this game is important enough that trying to play it without sound was impossible.
Yeah.
When I was first setting up the recording, we were having some problems getting the sound to basically play for me.
Yeah.
So...
Babe dead.
Oh... Spooky.
Every time I see this part of the game, I just kind of laugh to myself because, I mean, obviously Babe kind of has different connotations. It doesn't have to mean sexy lady, it could be a baby, and I think that's what they're intending to possibly refer to. You know, May is the dead babe in this instance. Of course, Babe is an innocent.
Oh, where did you come from? So this is why the sound becomes important in this game. Because they kind of just appear from nowhere.
Yeah, you sort of have to assume that you are not safe so long as the music is playing. Even though you don't see the Stalker in the current room, just the fact that the music is going means that you kind of just need to keep moving and you can't stay in place.
So it's important to note here that you can actually save in the middle of a Stalker being after you. It will reload you into the Stalker chase, so you can't get away from them. But it will, like, give you
Yeah.
you know.
If you've made any progress at least, and then a stalker appears in front of you, then you can at least keep your progress by quickly saving before they kill you.
Mm-hmm. One other thing is that you've noticed that I don't always have to have a hiding spot to get away from these guys.
Yeah, it seems like if you kind of run around long enough, you eventually will lose them.
If you put enough distance between themselves. Yep.
I see.
So now I got a little lost here. It's been a long time since I played this game. So I couldn't remember where to find the safe. So you can see the map here.
And the map nicely marks where the save point was, if you notice that, the green book on the bottom there.
Mm-hmm. I remembered at this point that a puzzle later makes it so that it's very important for you to have this back up.
So, do you think that Sledgehammer killed that guy there? Because when we were out on the streets of London, it seemed safe to assume that the people who were dead because of the bombings. But now we just kind of have this random dead corpse right there.
Yeah. That's tough to say. I feel like he did, but it also doesn't make much sense for him to have.
Mm-hmm.
So it might just be, ooh, spooky body.
Yeah, that's true too. It's hard to tell sometimes if something is meant to have an in-game explanation, or whether it's just kind of there to try and add some more atmosphere and spook the player.
Yeah, spooky body. Let's get behind this desk. Another example of my save paranoia. So now we solve this puzzle by using. You could see that Babe and Dead, the letters always corresponded to a certain letter. So you take the B, the A, and the D, and there is your code.
Mm-hmm. And we were able to engage and solve this puzzle while the Stalker music started up, which is, the game doesn't prevent you from making progress while the Stalker is after you.
It is pretty funny that I was able to trigger the door there.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the game does try and be fair to you.
A little bit, yeah.
But it does kind of make it a little funny sometimes when, as you saw with the door, you're able just to kind of squeak past him, and now we've lost him immediately.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. That every time that startles the crap out of me, even when I know it's coming. Doesn't matter. So you can see here our panic meter is quite high, so we need to stay away from him. We don't want to go into panic mode and have him punch us in the face, so we're gonna run to this locker.
Kick over a beer can?
Well, So he's in the room at this point, if I'm not mistaken, but he can't find you.
He's literally running towards us.
Yep, and now he has no clue where you are.
I do like this hiding spot a little better than the other one because it's kind of makes a little more sense. It limits our visibility, which sort of adds to a bit of tension because it's harder to tell if he's gone or not.
It is one thing of the game that sometimes, if you get to a hiding spot and the stalker's in the room, they'll be like, no, I saw you, and you have to come out of the hiding spot.
Yeah.
But in this case, like, he just looks really dumb. Like, he was distracted by something, and then was like, ugh.
I have to say, the flickering light kind of adds a little nice bit to this scene here, because for when the light flickers off, it's kind of hard to make him out when he's kind of in that one area.
Yeah.
I do feel like this game could benefit from an upgrade, maybe getting a better lighting engine. Because there are some moments in it that are kind of spooky and sort of well composed, but it's a little limited by the technology of the time.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Nightcry turns out, because that will be essentially a Clock Tower game with current-gen technology.
Or at least access to current-gen technology is the thing to point out. Because
yeah, that's true.
Because you have access doesn't mean you might actually use it.
One thing that I'm excited about with Nightcry, though, is that it's point-and-click. That, I don't know why, that delights me so much. I know that point-and-click is not the most sophisticated of gameplay, but I just found that the point-and-click worked so much better than this way of moving.
You say that as you kind of run around and you're running into walls head first.
Well, I just want to illustrate my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, Alyssa, you move terrible.
So, once again, kind of back to the story of May. It's very, it's probably, I think, the saddest story in the game. May was trying to win this piano recital. She loses because of a mistake made in her performance. That night, she is murdered by Sledgehammer, and now she is a ghostly apparition who is trying to continually perfect her performance, and she keeps making mistakes and messing up.
Yeah, stuck in that moment of failure.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're here to help her. Oh!
He can bust through a wall, but he can't bust through a wood door.
Well, I can't, I don't have an explanation there. That's just fucking stupid. This is also kind of awesome. These evade points I love because it always just feels like a wah 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 for the Stalker. See? Can't you hear the sad horn noise playing for him? Poor Sledgehammer, you just can't win.
Yeah. And again, we just saw this dude bust through a wall, but he gets knocked out by a pile of instruments.
Well, maybe they're just heavy and he's stuck. So, yeah, there's the crawl again. Pretty fun when you don't hold the button and you just end up squatting up and down. Just getting that, doing your squats, getting that butt.
I have to say, I do sort of like that we have this moment where Sledgehammer effectively opened up a new area for us by kind of busting through that wall there.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice little... Again, I like in games when they have the environment affected by stuff that happens in the game. Even though it's scripted, it's still kind of a neat thing to happen because it changes up your expectations of what's going to happen in the environment around you.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of makes you think that, oh, okay, nothing is for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, the thing there is it only allows you to get another item, but still,
still, it's a nice little...
I need to kick the bottles, and I shouldn't have there because I know. I am like Adam with the apple. I cannot resist temptation, and I doom humanity.
And, well, apparently, I can't fault you too much because, he went and, dicked off.
Yeah, well, he's not, terribly motivated.
Mm-hmm.
He gets distracted easy.
What? Oh, hello. Sorry.
Maybe he... Oh, there we go. No. We're in panic now. So you can see that, now if I get hit in the face, I'm gonna die. Yeah. So let's use some lavender water.
And, you can kind of see for a short moment there, Alyssa kind of flails around and, kind of acts like a buffoon.
Yep.
I don't know, representations of panic in games I find are always a little iffy because they kind of just seem more annoying. I guess that's the thing, is that a real person in a panic isn't fun to play as.
I don't know why I didn't use my lavender water. Instead I used my sigil stone. So now I'm going to use my lavender water. No, I'm going to use my invisibility band.
Alright.
I don't know what I'm doing. So now, despite being there, he now can't find us. Kind of comedic.
And obviously this is only active for a short time.
It allows you to gain some headway, though. And you can see there that I'm also not panicking anymore, so that's important. The panic meter does go down.
I think I would like the panic thing a little more if you didn't stop.
Yeah.
I can deal with, like, the kind of flailing running, but having Alyssa stop in place just seems like it's a deliberate, kind of annoying feature to ensure that you are stressing out, you the player, because now you're kind of having control ripped from you, and...
I don't know, I think I like it for that reason, because it does add that layer of frustration and the need to not be in panic mode.
I see, and I'm not a fan of that frustration. At least not the I'm gonna stand still while the killer comes and gets me. I guess, I don't know, I mean, I'm not an expert in what happens to the human body when you go into a panic, but definitely, just speaking as it from a person playing a video game, having the character stop and basically deliberately wait for the killer to catch up with them just seems like an annoying feature designed to try and ensure that I might get killed in the panic mode.
And I mean, the other thing though is that if you don't have that, it becomes very easy to not die in panic mode, and then they aren't a threat. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it's kind of a necessary evil.
I don't know, I guess I sort of feel like the panicked running where you're flailing about and...
Well, you actually move faster in panic mode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I think the stop is important. I don't know, there's probably better ways that could have been done. I will mention here that you can die super easy by falling off there, and it is a game over. Yeah. You are not saved by anything, you are bloody dead. I don't mean bloody in the British sense, I mean you're bloody and you're dead.
So this dickhead moth just, like, ratted us out to Sledgehammer.
Because it's a dickhead. So those are, basically little, tattletales of the Subordinate.
And yeah, so if you see those guys, try and avoid them as best you can. There's actually similar characters in the spiritual successor Haunting Ground, where they kind of just are meant to get in your way and signal to the stalker where you are. So it's, again, the point you made where apparently Haunting Ground was being developed around the same time is sort of interesting to see that there are sort of some coincidental similarities.
I don't think there's any coincidence about it. I think they reused assets.
Well, were they, remind me, was Haunting Ground, I think Clock Tower 3 was Capcom?
Yep, they're both Capcom.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So, possibly there was some kind of shared ideas in development.
Oh, not even possibly. Like I said, these were all developed concurrently for Resident Evil 4. Yep.
So we're finally able to escape
the concert hall, and now that we have that tool, we're gonna go open that door that you remember was in the tailor shop.
Oh, yes.
The door with all the wires for no reason. I don't understand. Did May just wire off the door for funsies?
Well, again, that's the sort of thing where it feels like this isn't actually going back in time, because stuff like that, there doesn't really seem to be a good in-game explanation for why a character would do that.
It's true, but what it ends up feeling like is that someone made a game for Alyssa. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so it kind of takes away from the immersion?
It's sort of a deliberate sort of puzzle in a game that doesn't feel like a natural...
organic puzzle.
Yeah. And we could see there, we used the holy water on Sledgehammer, so you can use the holy water to briefly stun your enemies to try and get a bit more headway.
And you can see now he's figured out our hiding spot, and I am in a panic again.
One thing I kind of noticed just now with that hiding spot is that he kind of seemed really short when he was like kind of getting up in your face. It sort of seemed like he wasn't big enough to kind of, as I would expected him to be if he was getting right up close to Alyssa's hiding spot.
So you can see I screwed up there and died.
Good job.
Yeah, so that's why it's important to keep your panic meter down. Because you are just a little fluffy bunny. But apparently when you're not panicked, you can take hits like a pro.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I don't really know. So now we're gonna get away from him again, and we're not gonna die this time, presumably.
It's a kind of funny bit there. The music actually took a little while to catch up and start playing.
So I'm actually just gonna use the trick of going into a new area to get away from him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, one thing you might be thinking of, viewer, if you've never seen this game before and are watching this for the first time, we've seen previously that we can help calm ghosts by finding their sentimental items and returning it to them. So you might be thinking, are we going to do the same thing to May?
And you are thinking correctly. Basically in every little level you have a big ghost who you need to soothe, and then a bunch of little ghosts who are just irritating.
Yeah, and they're kind of just there to sort of make your progress a little more difficult, but they do supply you items.
And it seems to be, in most cases, that the ghosts weren't killed by the big scary dude.
Yeah.
It just happenstance.
So, of course, here now we are filled in with a little more specifics about May and her father. We get to see them happy, obviously,
Love.
before their respective tragedies.
Daddy,
Aww.
you're home early.
May. I have to tell you
May's
something
little
important.
sweater is so cute.
Daddy's going off to war.
Well, don't beat around the bush, Daddy. Don't try to soften the blow or anything.
Well,
Here, all alone.
I mean, you kind of have to expect it when it's 1942 and
Yeah.
everyone's getting conscripted.
You'll miss me and be
That's
sad
true.
when you're in war, won't you?
Yes, I will. You're the most precious thing to me
This
in
is
the
quite
whole world.
sweet.
But don't
Like,
worry.
this game gets a lot of things wrong, but this scene really does work.
Yeah.
The winner will have their performance.
I mean, it's not like A-grade writing, it's not A-grade dialogue, but there is a sentimentality that comes from it.
That would be wonderful.
And of course, now we
The competition
find
will be
out
stiff,
why
but you go to
exactly
your lessons and practice
May really
properly, I'm
wanted
sure
to
you
win
can
the
do it.
piano concert so
practice
much.
every
It wasn't
day.
just to get the
I've already
glory,
chosen
it
a
was
piece
so
I'm going to
that
play. Listen.
her father would be able to hear her play while he was off at war.
You told me this watch was a present from Mummy before you got married, remember? I'll play this tune on Christmas Eve, so you can think of Mummy and me. Then it'll be like we're all together again.
Aw, May, you're such a nice little girl.
Mhm.
And it really is such a tragedy, a girl forced to grow up on her own.
Yeah, I was just going to say, she's a very mature little girl, and which kind of fits, given the fact that not only did she have to grow up without a mother, but she is having to deal with the reality of living during World War II.
The question I have, though, is that they run a tailor shop, but you could see earlier she mentioned in a note that she was sewing the buttons onto her dad's clothes. Is May the tailor?
I love how you're kind of crapping on Dad's skill as a tailor, right? As we're seeing this scene where he just got killed.
Well, maybe if he was a better tailor.
So yes, sadly, not only did May not win the concert so that her dad could hear her music while he was at war, but her dad died before it could even,
Get to that point.
yeah.
Yeah. Everybody got crapped on. So now we get some information about Robert Morris, who is Sledgehammer.
I'd like to specifically point out that this is dated 1941, and if we remember from the earlier note talking about May's death, she was killed in 1942. So that's a year after
He
Sledgehammer
died.
was killed.
Yeah.
So, as we're gonna see, the stalkers in this game, I mean, if you couldn't guess from the teleportation, they are very distinctly supernatural. They are referred to as subordinates, and we're gonna get more explanation about the subordinates, I think coming up pretty soon in the next chapter.
Mm-hmm.
But, just to kind of give a brief mention of them, they are basically immortal beings who are powered by the death, or the people they kill. So as long as they are killing people, they will remain alive.
They've been possessed by evil spirits.
Mm-hmm. And, as we're gonna see, it's somebody's job to stop these guys, and can you guess whose job that will be?
Oh, it's Dennis.
Oh, we haven't even met him yet!
But he's the best character.
No, they all know who he is. Someone named Dennis may or may not show up later, and he may or may not be the most annoying character in the world.
I think you mean best,
No, that's true. I can't really argue.
right? So what we probably noticed that we picked up an arrow in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a weird item.
Yeah, especially because we have no current weapons on us, so why are we picking up this magical arrow?
We could probably stab someone with it if we were really ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
We won't, but we could.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go save again.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
I believe, I hope I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I believe we picked up the pocket watch.
Yes.
So that's it for part 2 of Clock Tower 3.
Yeah, so next time we're going to be doing our first boss battle.
Mm-hmm. Look forward to it, because, I mean, again, you might be wondering, well, how do boss battles work in this game when we don't have any weapons? Maybe.
Just you wait.
See you guys then.